right, guys. So, welcome back. It's our second segment. And we went pretty long with Solo.
Yeah.
So, hope you guys enjoyed it, though. If you watched it. For
Yeah.
our second segment, we're going to start talking about comics now. And since we talked about the movie Solo this week, we thought it'd be kind of cool to talk about the Han Solo little 5-issue kind of mini-series that they did in the comics.
Yeah. The Marvel releasing. Marvel has rights to
So
the
when
Star
that
Wars
whole
comics. So
Disney thing took over, they did that whole thing with what's not canon, and so they started a whole new line of comics in Star Wars. So they got the ongoing main Star Wars series that's ongoing.
yeah, they have a Poe Dameron series,
And then they have like all these mini series. Some are continuing, like Vader and Poe Dameron. And then some were just like these little 5 issues, kind of like
just
a
quick little story, basically,
and in some of the characters'
that's what
lives.
we're talking about today, and that's the Solo part.
Yeah, the Han Solo one. So, yeah, man. So so basically all of them, basically how it started was right at after the Battle of Yavin. So after A New Hope, they blew up the Death Star, and then that's kind of where all these comics kind of kick off, like, and what's going, like all the events in between A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, which they haven't got to yet.
Mm-hmm.
So this one in Han Solo is just this little segment into what he's been doing after the Battle of Yavin.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, man. Guess what was your overall impressions? What do you think of the 5?
They're pretty good. I don't know, nothing really stood out to me too much. They didn't blow me away by any means, but it was a good read. It was.
I think that's kind of the main thought among a lot of people on a lot of these guys, like a lot of these characters ones. It's that there's the Leia, the Lando one, Solo. They've done a whole bunch of them. And a lot of them are like, they're okay. So I think it's been a while since they've kind of put one out.
I haven't seen one in a while, but
they did. Some of them were kind of popular. I think the Han Solo one was popular. The Darth Maul one was definitely a popular one. But yeah, this one, I read most of them. I think there's a couple. I don't think I've read the Leia and the Lando one yet.
No,
but I read most of them.
I see C-3PO had like a one-shot come out.
Yeah, that was just a one-shot.
How he got his red arm.
Right. So there's been some of those little one-shot ones. There was a Cassian and K2SO one too. That was just a one-shot. Like how
I didn't read that one. Yeah,
But
this Solo one is.
To me, this one was, for my opinion, I think it was a little more of the enjoyable ones of those ones. I think I really like this one, and I really like the Darth Maul one. But Han Solo, I mean, this one was pretty entertaining. I thought.
Yeah, the story was cool. I mean, because it's basically another race for him and another chance for Han Solo to be cocky.
More to highlight that's Han Solo-ness of him. But so we kind of get into it. So the first issue, in the beginning, it does kind of start off with a different Solo. So it kind of talks about like, okay, after the Battle of Yavin, he just goes back to what he does. He's smuggling. But it shows him like he's a lot more paranoid. He's a lot more weary.
Yeah, he's not as carefree or like willing to jump into danger.
He's turning down a lot of jobs, and then people are starting to notice. Like there's that Trandoshan that it wasn't Bosk, but it was a different of his race.
Basically, Solo's getting a reputation that he is a coward now.
Might be losing his edge. He's like
he doesn't want to do any more jobs. He's not what he used to be. He's losing, like you said, his edge.
Yeah,
and so he's
conflicted. So it kind of starts out a little different. Like he's like,
and I did like that about this series is how you kind of get into the mindset of Han Solo. They kind of show his inner thoughts. He's not just all cocky.
With the dialogue throughout the series, it's not just dialogue. There's a lot of like internal dialogue.
Yeah, exactly.
What he's
like,
thinking.
What he tells other people, is classic Han Solo. But what he's thinking inside, you kind of see they develop Han Solo more as a character in the comic books. I feel that was a cool aspect to see. Yeah,
for sure. I like that. But basically, so it turns out he gets called in. These couple people of the rebellion. They bring him up on behalf of Leia, and then they show Leia a hologram. It's like, hey man, if you're seeing this, we need you. Come in and let's talk. We got a mission for you, a job for you. And they start off with like, man, we need your ship. And he's like, no way, man. He's like, only one person pilots the Falcon, or two, me and Chewie, that's it.
Yeah.
So Yeah, they meet up with Leia and they discuss how they basically have this situation where they have a mole within the rebellion, and they don't know who it is.
But they also have informants that they have information they need to get from them. But one of the informants is everybody. The mole, and yeah,
and they need they need the Millennium Falcon as a guise to enter what's called the Dragon Void race, and it's this big, super popular, notorious,
super expensive
race that's known amongst any pilot who is anything wants to compete.
Wants to be a part of it. Yeah, it's just so expensive that no one can really just join. A lot of people who are in the race are sponsored by other rich people that buy their way in.
Yeah, so
the rebellion paid Han Solo's way.
Solos, and he's like, obviously Han is intrigued.
Yeah.
It piques his interest. He was like, okay, I mean, yeah, there's a mission, but it's like, I kind of want. Yeah. So I kind of want to do, and that they make that clear to him. He's like, man, the mission comes
first, yeah.
And he's like, yeah.
The race is kind of just a byproduct. This is the real mission.
Cover. So as it goes on, he gets super into it. He's like, okay, I'm Han Solo. I'm gonna complete the mission. I'm gonna do everything.
And somehow coincidentally, like I guess the rebels planned this, is how the race allows the drivers, the pilots, whatever.
Yeah, there's like three segments.
3 pit stops where you can stop and refuel. And you have like an hour long or something to refuel, or it's different per planet. But on each pit stop is going to be an informant that's going to join Han Solo on his ship.
Right.
So that's convenient.
Yeah, it's a convenient way to get them on. They set it up real well to go on a mission, and it's just everything. They kind of get into the race, and it's a pretty cool visual spectacle in the comic. Like it's fun to read.
Oh, the artwork is awesome. Yeah, it's really cool.
They kind of make it to where like the race is almost kind of like a Hunger Games ish. Like it's like they architect all the obstacles of the race and stuff like that.
Like people are dying. Like they're getting blown up right at the beginning. Like you just start getting blasted by.
They lose half the stuff, and he's like, man. And so he's like, man, this is gonna be keg. We got this, and then it's like, holy crap. It's like. But he's Han Solo, so he gets through. He's got the skills, and then it kind of and then you kind of, as it goes on, he highlights who the main players are. And you see, there's a Twi'lek sisters or what partners. There's 2 Twi'leks. One of the pilots, kind of a cocky dude, like a big, like a hotshot type of guy is in there.
Yeah, I don't remember his name.
I don't remember I only remember the other. So then there's this kind of fish-like lady, and there's like Lou Rayano.
Yeah, she was the last of her kind because all her other people disappeared or died.
Lou Rayano, and she's like this race is like her like this is what she does. Like
she's the champion.
Piloting is like her life. That's her way. That's how she copes with everything, and it's cool. And she But she makes it. She doesn't she views them. Yes, they're competitive racers, but they're like part of like her family almost. Like she gets like the other races. Like, man, this is it. Like, and so she kind of gives.
She's a really nice character. Yeah.
Tips and
Yeah, she's a really cool character. She's not mean or overconfident or. Yeah, she's just nice. I enjoyed her as a character. She is awesome.
Interesting character. She's got little light balls. She calls them witnesses.
Oh yeah, I forgot about those.
There, and one of them kind of goes to Han.
One attaches to Han Solo.
The race, which is kind of interesting. And then so they go on. They get past the first obstacle. They get to they pick up the first informant. Who's this super weaselly, like paranoid. I think it was like a Duro, I think was his race, but
yeah, and he's the one that as soon as Han meets him, he informs Han that one of the other informants is the mole, and I believe that's how it went down.
They're all like, okay, let's get out, let's go. Like as they pick up all the informants, they're all like, okay, let's go. Like we need to get safe and everything. And Han Solo, he's like, what is it? I think it was after they pick up the second informant. They learn that it's like, they're like he's allowed to disqualify himself, like back out of the race, but still go to the other planets.
Oh, they're saying if you get disqualified, then but as a courtesy to the racers, you are allowed to stop the planet still and refuel.
Right. So it's like,
so they were saying
we can just disqualify from the race. Just go to each planet, get the informants, and go. And Han
His competitive edge.
Competitive edge he does, and why he's like
Yeah.
he wants to complete the mission, but he wants to win this race. Like,
Yeah.
he wants it badly.
But you see it coming right away. I mean,
Yeah, and it's just you know, kind of a, which is cool. Like, you know, the movie Solo paired out, like, he wants to be the best pilot there is.
Mhm.
Like, that's him. Yeah, he's a smuggler and he learns all this thing, but at the core, he is a pilot.
Mhm.
He wants to be the best, and this is like he wants to prove it to himself in this race.
The second informant was like this tiger person who
Yeah.
had beef with Chewie.
Yeah, they both knew her,
Yeah.
like the tiger, but then so they're all just back and forth, and then the Empire gets involved. Like, the Empire gets involved with the race, like, arrest all the pilots at one point.
Oh yeah, I thought that was weird.
And then they just to let them go afterwards.
Yeah, I didn't get that part. He was just like, yeah, sure, you're right. You guys can go ahead and race. Like, I don't know why I was here to arrest you, but
It was Solo eccentric. Like, they kind of knew. I guess they call out Han by name, I think.
yeah. So it's like the mole tipped off the Empire that they were in this race. That's based.
Right.
That was the whole point of them even showing up. I believe is to show that the Empire was tipped off. That so one of the people who knew that Han Solo was in the race is the mole.
Yeah.
Which they kind of hint towards that the whole time, that one of the informants is the mole.
Right. So they pick up the second one, and then they end up picking up the third one on the same run. It ended the plans changed a little bit.
Yeah.
Where the third informant wasn't on the third planet; it was on the second one, and they almost get disqualified because they had to take off real quick, and they had to and then you got the Empire following them, the third one down, blasting them, and they had to kind of take a quick take off to get the third informant, and then one of Leia's bodyguards is with the third one.
Yeah.
So they end up picking up pretty much like 4 people total.
And that was all in the second pickup, right?
That
On
was
the
all
third
on-
pickup,
that
they didn't
was-
even need to stop anymore.
No, it
Or-
was pretty much just get through the third segment of the race, or do the disqualification like they all want to.
Yeah.
But Han doesn't.
He chooses not to, and then
Chooses
it
not
kind of
to.
comes to the very, very final part of the race, and
And then right at once they take off with everybody in there, like, and then they're kind of like, okay, all the informants, and so they know everybody. One of them's a mole, and they're like, okay, whatever, I'm not working. We need to get out of here. So Han gets out of, and then one of the, I forget which issue, it was either the third issue, fourth issue, one of the third informant it shows him dead.
yeah, it shows him. You don't really see him too much.
It just shows
He's
him just kind of dead on
laying
the
there dead.
thing. Yeah, and that's kind of picked as like it's already killing off some stuff,
Mhm.
and they go, and basically, right, so they're trying to get through the third thing, and during the whole thing, Han picks out, it's like, all right, he kind of knows, once he learns, okay, somebody died, everything happens, he knows where, like, Han is, like, yeah, with the race, but he also knows everything going on,
Mhm.
so he calls out, it's like, okay, it's the first
first
informant.
guy
He's
picked
like,
him
no,
off,
you're
yeah.
the only dude, like, I knew where everybody was, it's you,
Mhm.
you know it, and then, you know, he tries to, with like a poison needle
Yeah.
type of thing, and tries to kill Han, and they subdue him, and they kind of learn that it's not.
It wasn't his
wasn't-
fault. He was kind
wasn't
of
like
brainwashed.
Yeah, he
And
must have
so-
got compromised during his spy work, like undercover
Mhm.
thing. They compromised him, mental brainwashed him, and they did it. So yeah, they subdue that. It's like, all right, whatever. And then they're on this last stretch, and he's like, man, I want to finish this. It's like, I want to finish this race, you know.
Yeah.
And they go, and it's cool, and they have to get to.
It's like the first obstacle was what?
There's a whole bunch of like drone turret things.
Yeah,
like,
and
there's
they-
tons of them blasting it all.
And Han finds out that, or learns that they're
They're-
only attacking ships that have their engines running. So he
Yeah.
kills the engines to his ship, and they bypass him.
Because that one pilot, the Lou Rayano one, that master one, she like
Yeah.
knows it like right off the bat, so she's
Mhm.
just like kicking it with like a cup of tea or something.
Yeah, and the thing is, like, the race always changes, so it's never the same. So
Like
even though
you
she's
said.
been in the races before, she's never seen this obstacle before. They were kind of just showing how good she is.
Very Hunger Games ish.
Yeah, and the next one was this 12-hour long run where if you get below a certain,
That was the final. Yeah, that was the last race. Or no, that was the second
The
one.
second
That's
one, yeah.
12. It was just a super long. They had to
Mhm.
get through.
12 hours continuous flying, they couldn't sleep or something like that.
Yeah.
And then the third one
Third
was
one was they had to get to. It was basically just a full-on race like a
Yeah.
sprint to the finish, but it was in an area of space that like for whatever reason, it's like an anomaly where it like drains the ship's.
Oh, that's right. The ship runs out of fuel
like,
faster
really
than
fast. And that's why.
So that was kind of the.
It's always been like only one person makes it through the thing, and the rest are stranded until
They
someone
just
picks them
leave
up.
them there.
But the problem with this one is the Empire is back, and they're chasing.
The Empire's
them.
chasing them, so they're the ones that are gonna pick him up and whoever gets left
and
behind.
it's cool. So they make it to where Lou Rayano is. Well, like it basically makes it to where like Han and the Lou Rayano, the base pilot, are like neck and neck. But her ship gets hit from the Empire.
Yeah.
So it makes it like, okay, well, Han's like home free. He's about to make it, and at the last minute,
because there's this little portal that they go through, and through the portal sends you back to the very beginning of the race, and that's kind of no one knows who built it, no one knows why it does it. It just does that. So Han's about to cross the portal, and then he turns around, and he turns and wants
to
go help her.
To go help her. He respects her. He kind of
he grew to like her as a person or species. He likes her, so he goes and tries to save her, and by doing so, she's able to cross the finish line first. So everyone's like, "What the heck? You kept us in this race to try to win, and you ended up not winning." And
so he helps it out, but then they end up because then he learns all of her race ends up breaking out of the portal.
Yeah, so they weren't dead after all. They were just locked in a different
time and space.
Yeah, that she couldn't get to, and I guess that little portal thing that sends racers usually back to the beginning is the thing that sends them to the other dimension.
So her race of people goes and helps out the Empire, allowing the other racers and Han to enter through to back to the beginning.
And then it just kind of skips to Han with Leia again, right?
Yeah, so he finds out he's with Leia, and then it ends up being the bodyguard had like a master list of all the spy network, all the rebellion spy network she like the bodyguard had it the whole time, and then they figure it out, and Leia and Han have like a really cool banter together. She's like, yeah, man, that was reckless, that was everything, those things, but you know what, you got it done. Like,
that was cool.
You got it done, and they kind of have their own like their playful insults, your whatever, and he does your worshipfulness kind of line. And it ends with them, kind of showing their hands like close to each other. So it's, a little thing with Han in there.
So overall, it was good.
It was fun. Yeah, definitely. It has some really cool like I know we this is a high summary that we did of it, but there's some really good dialogue in the lines, some really good banter, especially between Lou Rayano and Han Solo together, just about piloting the life of everything.
So you get to see the more inner thoughts of Han Solo in this, and
there's a line of he says something. It's like, it's tough to be in the last of your kind or something. He's like, we're all the last of something. Maybe you're part of a dying breed too. Like I think that's a line that she says to Han. Like there's a lot of cool
little dialogue
lines in this series, so it's worth checking out. It was, like I said,
Yeah,
it's an overall fun little.
If you want a different story for Han Solo, just to kind of broaden your Star Wars horizon, definitely read it. Check it out. That was pretty good.
Yeah, for sure. It was definitely a fun read. So I hope you guys enjoyed our talk on it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So next we will be talking about Dragon Ball Z Season 1.